if it gets on the ballot?
My name's Tristan Taylor. I'm from Detroit. I'm a student at Eastern Michigan University, and I'm an organizer with BAM, who if people are not familiar. It's a long word. It's Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action, Integration, and Immigrant Rights, and Fight for Equality by Any Means Necessary. I'm one of the high school coordinators for the state of Michigan, and you know, George said almost what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rihanna Anderson. I'm from the University of Michigan. I'm a senior there, majoring in political science and psychology. I am the president of the University of Michigan's NAACP. It's been a very interesting 4 years, to say the least. If anyone has paid attention to our small little school, we have seen rights being challenged during my freshman year, and as I'm leaving, those same rights being challenged once again. So I really encourage you guys to ask as many questions that you may need this evening, but I look forward more so to hearing the other opinions on the panel.
I'm John Yab. It's working okay. Testing. Okay, I'm John Yab. I'm a political consultant here in Grand Rapids. I went to the University of Michigan from 1994 to 1998. I'm a supporter of...
This is on yet, is it? Can you...
testing?
Yeah, it's on now.
Is it on?
Now it is.
Okay, I'm a supporter of the Michigan Civil Rights Initiative. I'm here representing Jerry Zansfer today, who is a candidate running for the U.S. Senate and a strong supporter of the initiative. He couldn't be here today because he has a debate with the other two candidates in Oakland County today.
I'm Frederick Glacier. I'm editor of Robert Hayden's Collected Poetry and Prose. I'm publisher of Earthrise Press. I studied with Robert Hayden during the 80s and taught English, college writing and literature for over a decade. I experienced reverse discrimination in more than one university department. No one could believe that a white man could be editor of the foremost black poet of the 20th century, first black poet at the Library of Congress. I would repeatedly get invited to interviews, mouths would drop, and I would be ushered out in one way or another. So I've had reason through experience to think deeply and long over many years about affirmative action and my relationship and understanding of it. That's why I'm here.
Okay, good. Let's, we're going to start the discussion probably in the best place to start it, and that would be the language that has been recommended for the ballot regarding the proposed amendment to the Constitution of the state of Michigan. If you don't have a copy, there are copies of this in the hallway, on a table out in the hallway. And I'll read it for those of you that don't have a copy. A proposal to amend the state constitution to ban affirmative action programs that give preferential treatment to groups or individuals based on their race, gender, color, ethnicity, or national origin for public employment, education, or contracting purposes. The proposed constitutional amendment would ban public institutions from using affirmative action programs that give preferential treatment to groups or individuals based on their race, gender, color, ethnicity, or national origin for public employment, education, or contracting purposes. Public institutions affected by the proposal include state government, local governments, public colleges and universities, community colleges, and school districts. Prohibit public institutions from discriminating against groups or individuals due to their gender, ethnicity, race, color, or national origin. And as the ballot reads, should this proposal be adopted, so with that language in mind, we want to turn now to our panel of media that will have questions for our expert panel. And to start the questions, we'll begin with on the far end, the gentleman on the far end of the media panel. Oh, Dr. Flores, I'm sorry.
Dr. Jose Flores, publisher of the Community Voice Levels magazine in Grand Rapids. I have a question related to the issue. You know, I've long struggled over equality and just what's right and what we ought to be doing in our society. You know, I too have a quest for a colorblind society. However, the reality is that we're not so colorblind in America. In fact, we recognize it and it segregates our schools, it segregates our communities, and in fact, some of us can even go throughout life without having to interact with other diverse groups. And that's unfortunate for America. But from your perspective, Ron and Robert, how does your perspective on equality and your plan for a constitutional amendment help us to eradicate the gross inequality of representation of minorities in professional careers such as law and medicine and government and education? I mean, we can quote statistic after statistic where minorities are underrepresented. So what is your perspective? How do we accomplish that? I mean, obviously you've taken this on because you believe in equality. So what's your perspective?
Yes, me first. Go ahead.
My name's Fred Glacier. You said Ron? I'm sorry. Fred.
I must have.
Fred Glacier. I'm not with Sunrise Organization. There's a press release that went on. I want to correct that. It's erroneous somehow. I'm with Earthrise Press, Rochester Hills, Michigan. Okay. State your question again.
Absolutely. In America, it would be nice to be colorblind. However, the reality is that we live in segregated communities. Michigan has the highest ranking rate of segregation of public schools. Our inner cities are completely, I guess, have been vacated by many of the white community that have elected to move out into suburbia, into gated communities, who have surpassed us in terms of educational prowess, and as statistics state. So what is your perspective then on how we are to accomplish equality in this country, you know, given that you've proposed a measure?
Equality under the law is what we need. We've tried affirmative action for over 20 years, and it hasn't worked. It has led to more problems than solved them. The percentage of black students at University of Michigan has gone up virtually not at all. Let's call it from roughly 3.9, depending upon who says it, from 3.9 to 5.9% or something. That's insignificant. I don't think it's on, you know. So we tried this, and I don't, you know, how long are we going to continue trying something that doesn't work in itself? And what we're doing is we're discriminating. We're discriminating against the Asian kid who's sitting in the restaurant while his mom and dad are working and studying every night for years and years on end, and then he doesn't get into U of M. He sacrificed and worked and struggled for years, and he's bumped out by the manipulation of the entire system. It's not fair. It's not just. I would point to Carl Cohen, Ward Connerly's own book. I mean, this is, we know these people who have documented and I feel persuasively made the case that affirmative action is deleterious to the well-being of society. It's violating the law. It violates, as Cohen points out, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It violates the Title 5 or 6 of the Constitution as well, 14th Amendment. And how long are we going to keep doing the same old thing? It's become an ideology. You know,
Thank you, Mr. Glazier.
John McWhorter makes the point somewhere. It's become an ideology, and we don't want